BCW, BCW, BCW. BCW fans, I am longtime independent wrestling fan Robert. Final Judgment 3 was a great show as BCW debuted at Cathedral Prep? I apologize if I got the name of the building wrong, but it was BCW had returned to Queens for the first time in months. We start out with a pre-show match as we see Caden Pierre defeat the Zuka King, or is it just pronounced Zuka King, Matt Awesome and Ian Maxwell. It appears Matt Awesome hurt his knee when he was thrown out of the ring, and the referee was checking up on him at the time. I wonder if things went wrong or something happened there. We get on with the main show as we see one of the semifinal matches of the tournament to crown the first ever tag team champions, as representing the Ugly Ducklings, Rob Killjoy and Colby Carino, the son of former ECW and NWA World Champion Steve Carino, who substituted for Lance Jude. I don't know if that's the original Duckling that was unable to be at the show. I apologize if I got his name wrong. As they defeated, representing the Pancor Agency, Absolute Alvin and Rex Lawless with BCW Governor AJ Pan in their corner to advance to the finals of the tournament to crown the first ever tag team champions. Next, we have ourselves a triple threat match, which saw Ace Andrews face Nikos Ricos, accompanied to the ring by Vivacious Vicious Vicky, and the Salty Dog Joey Ace, accompanied to the ring by BCW Governor AJ Pan. I'm not sure if the ECWA Heavyweight Championship was on the line in this matchup, but unfortunately, at one point in the match, Vicky got into the ring, and I forgot she was going out with Joey Ace or Ace Andrews, and the referee ejected her from ringside, and then eventually the referee ejected AJ Pan from ringside, and in the end, Joey Ace defeated Nikos Ricos and Ace Andrews to win the match. As Joey and AJ Pan are celebrating the victory, the voice of BCW, Pete Rosado, says, with Anthony Cole, maybe the owner, but he's busy with his squad, and you, AJ, might be the governor, but I, the voice of BCW, am still in management. And he announced that since Joey likes to be in the ring with two men, it will be Joey Ace and a partner of his choosing, taking on Ace Andrews and his regularly scheduled BX Strong tag team partner, Big Cuzzo. And Big Cuzzo hit the ring to check on Andrews after the match. And that match will be happening at BCW's final show of the year, Christmas with a Vengeance, on Friday night, December 13th. Next up was women's action, as we saw the number one contender of the Women's Championship, Vanity, defeat Vicious Vicky. Then a fourth match of the main show, we saw the gifted one, Yaya, defeat Jay Vara, or is it Vera? Very good matchup by those two. Okay, I don't know if this happened next, but out came BCW's Governor AJ Pan and had presented the Governor's Ball, which I don't know if this is going to be a regular interview segment for every BCW show from this point on. But AJ Pan introduced his guest, the King of Dong Style, Joey Ryan, but was interrupted by Satsuchin Squad members Mark Schwann, Eric Jaden, Rick Recon. Eventually, Women's Champion Faye Jackson came out. And then AJ Pan, he announces that it had been a year since BCW fans from day one, Jen and Sean, had gotten married and invited them into the ring. And at one point, Faye, Jaden, I don't know, even AJ Pan got into it. Were giving them lap dances. And I forgot what happened, but eventually it was just, the segment ended at that point. I don't know if it did happen right after Yaya's match or not, but it was in the first half of the show. But the fifth match of the main show was the final, qualifying match to determine who will be the fourth and final competitor in the King of the Monsters match on December 13th, as we saw Napalm Bomb defeat the Queen of the Dinosaurs, Tara Calloway, Jacoby Boykins, and Bronco International. And as a result, Napalm Bomb is the fourth and final competitor for this matchup. I gotta say, BCW, I hope you have Napalm Bomb. You keep having him at the shows when 2020 arrives. He impressed me, as did Jacoby Boykins. Oh, they went to intermission at that point in time, and they came back to the show, got back underway as we had our second semifinal match of the tag team title tournament, as we saw South Philly's finest, Luca Brasi and Jimmy Conway sporting his Joker look, as they did battle with the Satsuchin Squad's East Coast Syndicate, Dominic De Niro and the Bushwick Beast, Chris Barton. Pretty much good matchup here, where eventually Conway accidentally threw powder in Brazzi's face. No, Brazzi or Grazzi? I apologize if I got his name wrong. And the East Coast Syndicate capitalized and defeated South Philly's finest to punch their ticket for the final match of the tag team title tournament at Christmas with a Vengeance, Friday, December 13th. Next up in singles competition, we see Public Enemy number 1, TJ Marconi, take on the Satsuchin Squad's Rick Recon. Marconi, during this matchup, during this matchup, the Queen Heel, Nia Kennedy, and Bushwick Beast Chris Barton got ejected from ringside by the referee in this matchup. But eventually, Dominic De Niro hits Marconi in the balls, and Marconi won the match on disqualification. Barton came back out, and they did a number on Marconi and beat him down. Next up, we saw Montana Black challenge wrestling's richest prize, Darius Carter, for the heavyweight championship. Competitive match here, which saw Darius Carter defeat Montana Black to retain the heavyweight championship. Carter then walks over to the commentary table, and he and Riley Shepard are ready to go at it, but then Pete Rosado takes the microphone and says, "Enough, this has been going on for so long." The referees came out to try to stop these two from going at it. And Rosado, he tells Carter, "You've got one more title defense here in 2019. On Friday, December 13th, you're defending your championship against the winner of last year's King of the Monsters tournament, Billy Brash," and that Riley Shepard would be the special guest referee for that matchup. Next up, we saw Faye Jackson defeat Ruthless Lala to retain the BCW Women's Championship. And in the main event of the evening, we saw the Satsuchin Squad's Eric Jaden go one-on-one with the King of Dong style, Joey Ryan. During this matchup, at one point, Ryan was trying to get Jaden to touch his penis. And then, eventually, he was about to Ryan was going to give Jaden the U-pornplex, but then all of a sudden, Mark Schwann, Rick Recon, and the East Coast Syndicate come in the ring, and then all four of them were unsuccessful. But then Nia Kennedy comes into the ring, and what am I saying? All apologies right there. Nia comes in the ring, takes Eric Jaden's hand, places on her breasts, and they're both trying to I forgot what they were put it this way, Jaden got flipped, but then Kennedy dared Ryan to touch her breasts. Instead, he went into his trunks, pulled out a lollipop, shoved it in her mouth. Jaden rolled up Ryan to pin him and win the matchup. Oh boy. All right, personal notes ties, Gracie and Mike McNicholas, Joe Carson, Catherine Castro, Anthony Cole, Pete Rosado, Irving Diaz, Stella, Jeff, Michael Licata, Shane Fair, Elliot, Michelle. I don't know what's going on here, what it takes to get fans to come to BCW these days. You know, the crowd, I was hoping for a bigger crowd for this particular show. I really think, I don't know what it's going to take to get crowds to really pack the buildings anymore. Speaking of getting fans and all, there were like a bunch of fans sitting next to me. I'm guessing they could be possibly teenagers, or they're possibly attending this place, go to school at this place during the week. These guys were being a bunch of fucking nut jobs, and like recording whenever wrestlers were right by them, and they were recording a little bit. At one point, Dominic De Niro grabbed onto somebody's cell phone. I don't know if one of those kids' mother called him or the kid called his mother, and he's on the phone. And De Niro took the phone. I forgot what he said. I mean, I thought they were like psyching him out. Maybe there really wasn't anyone on the other line. But hopefully they enjoyed themselves, and hopefully BCW will come back to that building in the future. I think it's a good building. I forgot to mention, great seeing Tony Mark, Stephanie. Who else can I remember seeing in the crowd for this event, or at this show in particular? I did notice luminaries in attendance: Robert Saint, Lou Nova. Excuse me, darn. Yeah. One thing I will have to address, and I've kind of mentioned this before. I mean, as a fan, I do understand, pretty much know the drill when it comes to, independent wrestling events, not being prompt, letting the crowd in, not being prompt or starting on time. And I don't know what else can be said. I don't know what's always the holdup. I mean, I remember even after they opened the door to let us inside the building, we waited some time before they all had our, everybody like paid their tickets or like brought their receipts to reserve who they were that they had already paid online and such. Okay. Well, as mentioned throughout this video, BCW presents its final show of 2019 and of the 2010s, because we're not only is there a new year upon us, but a new decade was about to start. But BCW presents Christmas with a Vengeance on Friday, December 13th, which is 6 days before my birthday. No location's been was announced to the crowd, but already announced for this event. Darius Carr defending the heavyweight championship against Billy Brash, with Riley Shepard as a special guest referee. Bronx BX Strong, Ace Andrews and Big Cuzzo take on Joey Ace and a partner of his choosing. The final match of the tag team title tournament, where the winners will be crowned the first ever BCW tag team champions, will be taking place as the Ugly Ducklings do battle with the East Coast Syndicate. And also the final match of the King of the Monsters 2019 tournament takes place, as it will be Napalm Bomb versus Public Enemy number 1 TJ Marconi versus the Unwanted Maniac Joe Gacy versus the Jurassic Juggernaut Vince Steele. I'm not sure what I would like to see for the next event, but I'm sure Faye Jackson will be defending the Women's Championship. Wow. I forgot to mention this earlier, but this was quite a quote. Uncle Jesse, more like Uncle Trashy. Mike McNicholas, referring to Nikos Ricos, whose attire looked like look as shiny as a brand new garbage bag, and somewhere singing the old hefty song. And I got Jason Bob 87. Great seeing you and Bill at the Bill Parham at this show. And by the way, I remember Jason was saying "Don't get mad," referring to the old Glad garbage bag commercials where the late Tom Bosley, who used to be on television shows like Happy Days and Father Dowling Mysteries, they were, he appeared in some of those old commercials. Well, what else there can be said about this very event here? Let me see. Damn, what else can be said about this show? What a rush. Oh, can't believe this one guy in the crowd, I guess he was helping out for the show. This guy, I'm not going to mention give him any fame whatsoever, but most of you who know, I mentioned this guy, you might pinpoint who this is. This guy, he's in the wrestling business, and basically instead of just studying everything that's going on in the ring, he acted like such a fucking fan and shit. And this guy is like being so damn annoying. I mean, how about you just study everybody instead of just being a dang fan in the crowd? I mean, it's one thing you can't really act like a fan if you're in the business. I mean, come on, you got to convert. I mean, look at hell, Chris Barton of the East Coast Syndicate. He used to be in the crowd with me at various shows. But once he started training to wrestle, he converted and pretty much had to seemingly put his fandom away. I mean, to that one guy I'm referring to in the crowd, if you weren't like sucking up to a certain promoter and selling tickets for his shows, you wouldn't be in the dang business. Somebody should really start an online petition to put him back behind the rail, or maybe even don't let him come back to shows to even buy a ticket. Who knows if he really was indeed helping out at this very show or not. Yeah. Well, as I said, I'll say what does it take to draw fans into the building? I mean, BCW, have you thought about maybe going back to the St. Sebastian's Parish on 57th Street in Queens? That's where you had an anniversary at earlier this year. I mean, that's a great place to do a show, and that pretty much drew nicely. I mean, since the anniversary usually happens in the month of March, I wonder if there's going to be a show in January, because I've noticed over the years, BCW, you've never run a show in the month of February. I'm guessing there'll be a show in January, and I sure hope there will be one. Oh, boy. Let's see. Am I forgetting anybody that I saw there? Oof. Well, I will say, BCW, I hope you bring back Matt Awesome. And I guess now this pre-show match is becoming a norm, because like for the past 3 shows now there's been a pre-match on before the main show. Wonder where Eric Jaden goes from here after getting the match that he wanted. All right, I guess that'll do it here. But yeah, BCW, great show. I mean, can't wait for December 13th, 6 days before my birthday. Of course, you don't have a location announced yet, but hopefully you'll get a great crowd for that, especially with the matches already announced. And I will end this by saying BCW, 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 BCW.